Hi guys, welcome back to English Online, and this is the second video of the poem class 10th, a tiger in the zoo. And here we are going to understand it line wise with the description of each and every word and some other critical questions. So here we go. A tiger in the zoo, जैसा कि आपने फर्स्ट वीडियो में देखा है, poets talk about the tiger which is there in the zoo, and then he talks about the tiger which is there in the jungle. It's a comparative study of the tiger's condition. So here we are going to understand it line wise and stanza wise. Guys, when we go through the first stanza, we come to know, like, he says that he stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his case on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet race. He here refers to the tiger. The tiger stalks used for walking slowly and angrily. Remember, the tiger is angry and he walks angrily in his colorful stripes. The stripes which are there, the color which is there on his body is used here as vivid stripes. आपको याद होगा, हमने पहले वीडियो में डिस्कस किया था कि जो टाइगर होते हैं उसके बॉडी में डिफरेंट कलर्स होते हैं, डिफरेंट कलर की लाइंस होती हैं दैट कैन बी विजिबल फ्रॉम द फार अवे, दैट्स कॉल्ड विविड स्ट्राइप्स. सो द टाइगर इज वॉकिंग इन हिज केज. टाइगर जो है अपने केज में वॉक कर रहा है एंड ही हैज़ different stripes of colors on his body. He takes a few steps, कुछ steps वो लेता है, and then he just stops. You can understand the condition of the tiger because he is in the zoo, in the cage, so he has no very space, no very much space, he has very less space. So वो कुछ steps चलता है and then he stops, and he is very angry. You can look at the condition that he walks a few steps slowly in the case and he gets quite raised. He gets quite in his anger mood. Now you can understand the same with the descriptions given here in the summary form. Like in this stanza, the poet describes the appearance of the tiger in the zoo and its daily movement. Remember, its daily movements made him very much disheartened. He says that the tiger moves up and down in his cage, and his stripes on his body can be distinguished even from far, as they are darkened in color than the rest of his body. The tiger walks quietly without making a sound, because you know the paw, the tiger's paw is pad of velvet quiet. It means here it is the paw of the tiger which is soft in paw, in pad form. Here pad is used for his paw, and so when he walks very quietly without making any kind of sound, and his it's just because of his smooth velvet pad. The tiger is able to walk only few steps because of the length of the case. He covers the distance in a few steps and only in few steps, so he gets angry. The tiger is full of anger, but it is suppressed because he knows that he is helpless. He was very angry, he gets very much angry, but he is helpless. उसके पास दूसरा और कोई चांस नहीं है, so he is helpless. He gets depressed, he gets angry, he walks very few steps. Remember guys, this is the first stanza. Now we are going to talk about the second stanza. Here in the second stanza of the poem, the poet says that he should be lurking in shadow. Remember the word lurking, we have already discussed that he should be there in the jungle, walking somewhere freely or hiding somewhere behind the shadow to get his prey. So lurking is used for hiding in a secret place. और he should be sliding through long grass, या फिर लंबे लंबे जो ग्रास होते हैं उसके बीचों बीच वो स्लाइड करता हुआ अब, या और किसी वाटर बॉडी वाटर होल के पास हिडन होता, इफ ही वुड बी देयर इन जंगल, अगर वो जंगल में होता, सो दैट ही कुड गेट हिज प्रे एज द plump deer which passes near the water hole. So the poet says कि अगर वो जंगल में होता तो वो कहीं ना कहीं किसी शैडो में सीक्रेटली छुपा होता, कहीं किसी लॉन्ग ग्रासेस में पास कर रहा होता, ताकि वहाँ जो डियर अपने वाटर के लिए आए उसको वो प्रे के रूप में कैच कर सके, हंट कर सके. लेट्स गेट इट इन more description. The poet is filled with pity. While looking at the imprisoned tiger, the poet imagines another life for the tiger, and that he says that the poor tiger should have been in the natural habitat. जो टाइगर है उसको नेचुरल हैबिटाट में होना चाहिए, दैट इज़ द वाइल्ड फॉरेस्ट, क्योंकि ये वाइल्ड एनिमल है और वाइल्ड फॉरेस्ट ही उसका रियल habitat है, इसलिए. He says that under normal condition the tiger would have been moving in the darkness, not in the clear daylight. वो नॉर्मल कंडीशन में डार्कनेस में घूमता हुआ नजर आना चाहिए. ही शुड बी वॉकिंग इन द डार्कनेस. एंड ही सेज दैट it would have been laying in the shadow. वो कहीं ना कहीं किसी शैडो में क्या करता, तो छुपा होता. and there he could be waiting for the plum deer to come and attack on it and make its prey itself. Remember guys, there near the water hole he would be waiting for some plum deer to pass. He would be lying there in expectation of a happy feast or happy meal that he makes himself, and that gives him pleasure or happiness. So the poet finally says that वो जंगल में ज़्यादा खुश होता, अपने शिकार के लिए वो कहीं ना कहीं छुपा होता, secretly वो hunt करता, and then he could be getting more happier. He could be getting happier than being in the zoo. Now in third stanza he talks about once again the tiger which is there in the zoo. He says, देखिए क्या कहते हैं poet, he should be snurring around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, टेरटाइजिंग द विलेज. या इस स्टांजा थर्ड में भी पोएट ने टाइगर को फॉरेस्ट में ही दिखाया है, जिसमें कि वो कहना चाहते हैं कि अगर वो जंगल में होता तो जंगल के आसपास, जंगल के किनारे, ऑन द एज, एट द एज ऑफ द जंगल, जो भी हाउसेस होते, जो भी घर होता, वहाँ के लोगों को वो अपने फैंग से, रिमेंबर फैंग्स मीन्स टिथ, वो अपने टिथ से या फिर अपनी उसकी जो शार्प क्लोज हैं, क्लोज मीन्स नेल्स, उस नेल्स से आसपास के लोगों को वो डराता हुआ रहता, टेरिफाइंग करता रहता. लाइक ही वुड बी द टाइगर टू मेक मैन फ्राइटेन. मैन को वहाँ डराता, बट यहाँ कंडीशन क्या है, लाइक इट्स अपोजिट. आप देखेंगे कि जू में वो मैन को नहीं डराता, बट ह्यूमन बीइंग गो एंड मेक देयर एंटरटेनमेंट बाय टीजिंग इट. सो ही सेज दैट it's just opposite. He should be there in the jungle making sound of growling sound or roaring sound at the edge of the jungle, and the houses there, the people living there would be getting terrorized or afraid, frightened with the fang and claws of the tiger. So guys, this was the third stanza, and in the last, the fourth stanza, the poet says that here in the fourth stanza he talks about the tiger back into the concrete cell. concrete cell here is used for the cage, the caged tiger's room or tiger's cage, huh? It's a caged tiger. He says that concrete, see, but he is locked in concrete cell. Here concrete cell indicate caged cage, huh? He is in the cage which is made up of cemented walls, so concrete cell, and he is locked in it. His strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. See, ही सेज दैट कि अभी टाइगर जो केज में है वो पूरी तरह से आने वाले विजिटर्स को इग्नोर करता है. ही इग्नोर्स द विजिटर and he walks into the cage only. He walks around the cage. He is unable to do anything despite of his its strength and power. He feels very much depressed and ignore human presence over there. Let's see what he says. Here the poet stops imagining the tiger's ultimate life and returns to the real one. The poet sees the tiger caged in a small concrete cell. Remember, the poet sees a tiger caged in a small concrete cell over there in the zoo as the prisoner. And despite all the strength, all his power, he lies imprisoned behind the bar. The tiger pays no attention to the visitors who come to see him every day at the zoo. Instead of this, the tiger very slowly and silently moves up and down along the length of the cage without any disturbance in the form of human intervention. देखिए टाइगर पूरी तरह से उदास है, वो ह्यूमन के प्रेजेंस से भी कोई मतलब नहीं रखता, वो किसी तरह के जो विजिटर्स आते हैं उन पर कोई कंसंट्रेशन नहीं करता. ही इग्नोर्स देम एंड उसकी ताकत, स्ट्रेंथ, सारा चीज़ उस केस में आकर ख़त्म हो रहा है. Here on the last stanza of the poem, stanza 5, the poet says he hears the last voice at night. See, in the case he hears the voice which is the last voice at night is the voice of the patrolling car. He hears the last voice, and that last voice is the voice of the patrolling car, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. He hears the voice of the patrolling car and then he looks at the stars, and he could understand that these are of no use for him. In the stanza, let's understand it in wide description. Here he says that the poet describes the daily routine of the tiger. The tiger does not rest during the day because of the visitors. जो विजिटर्स वहाँ आते हैं उस टाइगर को दिन में रेस्ट नहीं करने देते हैं. दे कुड नॉट टेक रेस्ट, टाइगर कुड नॉट टेक रेस्ट ओवर देयर, एंड इवन एट नाइट it stays awake till the very last voice of the zookeeper locking up and going home can be heard. जब तक वो zookeeper की आवाज़ सुनना ले तब तक वो जगा रहता है. And after that too, it doesn't go to sleep. All night it remained disturbed due to the noise of the patrolling cars. He keeps staring, he keeps looking at the brilliant stars with his brilliant eyes. Perhaps he is asking heaven, just get the idea. Look at the pettiness of the tiger. He is asking heaven, just trying to ask heaven why he has been imprisoned there, which shows the great plight of the tiger and all other animals which are there kept in the prison. These great power of wild habitats must be free and must be there in the forest rather than in jungle. Here we can find out the poetic devices which are used here in this poem. You can say personification is there in the poem. The tiger is personified as he stalks, although the tiger itself is a living being, so you can say it's like a personified only. And next, here is enjambment. The line continues to next line without any punctuation mark. That's enjambment. You can see in the line, sliding through long grass, deer pass. These lines are examples of enjambment. Let's see here the line which is the example of enjambment. Here you can see that this line started from here, sliding through long grass, and it continues up to here without any punctuation. That's why it's a enjambment. Here in this line there is in Jumbment, enjambment. Remember, enjambment is a figure of speech that is there in the poem when a line starts and continues into three lines without any punctuation mark. And then after getting enjambment, here next is oxymoron, use of adjectives opposite in meanings, like quite raised. He is quite raised. He's angry, so he can't be completely quiet. But here it is the reference, so quite raised is oxymoron. Here is alliteration in the sound P in plump pass. In the plump deer pass, you can say P sound is repeated, so here it is alliteration. There is imaginary also, as the poet tries to create an imagination of tiger's activity as like lurking in shadow, hidden somewhere at water and water hole. And then there is onomatopoeia, which is the use of sound, as here it is snoring sound of the tiger. Hope you enjoyed the watching of the poem. Keep studying, keep learning, and do take moment to share, subscribe, and comment. Have a nice and cheerful day.